Alrighty guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing the first video that isn't actually an entry into my Ironman series, but it is going to be somewhat related, I suppose. I'm going to be checking in on my bank now that I've maxed my account. It took us 42 episodes to get there, but not once have I really reflected on the bank and how far it's come. So today we're going to have a dedicated video to checking in with how my bank has progressed over the course of 42 episodes of an Ironman series, and seeing just exactly how much value it is worth. So because I use the bank tag layouts plugin, I don't regularly check in with my bank. So this video will serve as posterity, I suppose, to see a little bit of a snapshot of where my bank is as soon as I max. And I think after this video, I'll clean it up a little bit because I think we're about to figure out that there is a lot of crap in this bank that needs to go. It is not optimized at all, and I need to make room because I'm constantly buying extra bank space, and it's getting to the point where that is just too expensive and no longer feasible. So let's get started. We'll start off with the main tab here. This thing is going to encapsulate quite a few things. Anything I was too lazy to put anywhere else is going to be this main tab. So this is going to be the biggest tab that we have. And like most banks, I like to put my money in the very first spot, followed with a bunch of runes. This is typically organized better. If I have an account in general, normally I have this a lot better. My pure essence is normally over here, but rune crafting these days, I don't normally do a whole lot of it. I think a lot of my experience was done through like Guardians of the Rift and Zaya rune crafting, so I didn't have to have like an optimal rune crafting setup. In a lot of accounts that I build, I'll have my dueling rings and my glories up in this space here, but we don't do old school rune crafting a whole lot, so maybe if I make wrath runes or something like that, I can organize this a bit better. But speaking of the runes that we do have, I have no idea how I've managed to accrue so many air and mine runes. I'm not really recalling what would have dropped all of these. I probably bought some from the packs, but there's no way I bought that many. Fire runes as well, quite a few. I honestly think I'll need to buy a few of these. With Yama being released, I do believe it drains fire runes like crazy, so 191k might seem like a lot. I have a feeling I'll be purchasing some more in the near future, but as for water runes, I recently just filled up my rune pouch, so I'm pretty dead low on these, so that will be something that I will immediately need to buy more of. But got a lot of blood and soul runes. This, once again, is due to Zaya rune crafting and Guardians of the Rift, I suppose. A lot of chaos runes, that's probably monster drops that have contributed to that. Astral runes, purchasing, of course, from the island, the lunar island specifically, the chicken house. And I think for the most part, the lore runes are also monster drops, but that is my rune stash as it is. I haven't bought too many skill capes on this account. I like to, in general, collect them, but I've been fairly cognizant of the fact that my bank is consistently filling up, and despite enjoying collecting skill capes, I've kind of held back, and anyone with like significant utility, they're pretty much the only capes I've bought. Range cape, arguably, probably the least useful considering it's not as good as an assembler, I believe. But following from the skill capes, this is where the cracks begin to show. Random crap like a mystic robe top, the dark version, we're going to see a lot of items. I might actually turn off this tooltip real quick. There we go. That was going to annoy me. If I recorded 20 minutes of a bank video and that little tooltip was appearing for every single item, I would have lost my mind when I look at this in the editor. But we do have quite a lot of marks of grace, a lot of like quest rewards. I think for my Ironman, what I'll need to do is complete every quest just so I feel safe in dropping all the quest items. I have a bad habit of holding on to things that I think I may need in the future. They may not even be hard to replace, but like things that just aren't that significant will take up a significant amount of bank space. So once again, once this bank video is recorded, I'll kind of give myself the ability to purge some of these items. But I think though, even though some of these items are very useless, like I can see how my account progressed chronologically just by what crap is where. Like the Guardians of the Rift is something that I did fairly early on, so you see my Abyssal Pearls take a nice early spot in my bank. Got some dyes there. The first Dragon Medium Helms I got to my account, I recall my Guardians of the Rift luck specifically for Dragon Medium Helms was ridiculous. Like the intricate pouches, I believed every single loot haul that I did, I managed to pull at least one D-Med. And since then, we've got other sources of Dragon Medium Helms, and we've got quite a stash of them. You'll probably also notice that there is some items I just randomly have a shitload of, and I honestly don't know what to do with some of these items. When it comes to things like 480 rune forehelms, I don't know if I should put these in death storage. I just realized in this moment I do have an adamant square shield. When you see episode 43, you'll realize why I'm a dumbass, but I'll leave that for now. But yeah, feel free to give me some advice of what to do with certain items. Like, I don't know if I should be elking these items or if I can just skip past that, put them in Death's Coffer and kind of navigate around that. Not too sure. But yeah, a lot of random stuff absolutely everywhere. This is probably like Monkey Madness related stuff. It's so strange. These Golden Over fruit tops. I can probably just drop these now. A lot of these items probably deserve to go in the bin in full honesty. Now that I've maxed, I don't really have an excuse to hold on to these. Like, what am I going to boost for? Like 104 thieving, or I don't even remember what these boost. It might be Herblore. I definitely don't think I need the majority of these items in these couple of rows, but the point of this video is not to show you how pretty my bank is. The point of this video is to show just the chaos that I've accumulated over like 2 years of gameplay. Well, we've got about 100 crystal keys I guess I could put together. I think I had 122 loops, so a little bit biased on the loop side, but that's okay. Now that I have an Emberlight, I don't know what to do with these ancient shards. I don't know what like purpose these serve. I'm too scared to like drop them or not collect them because I feel like they'll have utility in the future, if not already, something that I'm unaware of, but I don't know. I don't know what most people do with their ancient shards post-Emberlight, but anyway, I've got 172 of them just in case I need them for a rainy day. But moving right along, we've also got a bunch of fossils. I could probably drop those. Not too sure. Things like Warp Scepter, I'd probably be best off maybe uncharging that thing and then alking it. No idea. Every bank space does have a whole lot of value to me. If I'm willing to pay X amount of million for 40 bank slots, you could realistically translate that to every bank space. You know, it has like a certain amount of value. So anything that is taking a space, it probably needs to be assessed of if it is worth that value. But a lot of random quest items, a lot of random like farming equipment. You can see my Winter Tot has been encapsulated in these few rows here. I will need to go back to Winter Tot. I want to get that Phoenix pet as I mentioned in my previous video. So maybe not the best to kind of bin all the items out from the loot crates that I'd normally receive. Hespori, I've not done a whole lot. I kind of like the idea of like I've got 8 Hespori kills in a bottomless bucket. And you can just like look me up on the high scores and I've got, yeah, like I think I got it on 6 KC. So I've kind of ruined a little bit, but Hespori is not something I regularly do, as you can imagine. These house keys will probably never be used. You longbows, again, don't know if I should elk these or put them into the death coffer. Who bloody knows? Unidentified minerals, don't know what purpose those will serve. I've got my expert mining gloves. I'm pretty much sorted. And I think a common theme we'll see throughout this bank is that I have this thing, I'm not sure what to do with it, so I've just let it rot and gain dust in the bank. But we've got a surprisingly large amount of dragon arrows and also dragon darts, which is good. These will definitely receive good utility. A ridiculous amount of dragon stones. I'm not too sure what to do with those. I'll probably make a bunch of glories, but then again, like I still haven't made my house, but once I do, I can just mount a glory, so I don't realistically need to have a bunch of glory amulets. My mindset's still stuck in the past of, I'm going to do nature rune crafting at the Abyss. I need 200 glory amulets. It's like, it's so outdated, but that's exactly where my brain goes when I see those dragon stones. But here is a lot of my Hunter Rumor gear. I thought I would do more Hunter Rumors while maxing. Turns out that wasn't the case. I probably spent more time setting up a block list than I did actually doing Hunter Rumors. I could be misremembering, but not too sure. A lot of magic longbows, a lot of mithril arrows from the CG grind there. And this is kind of, yeah, we get to the point where this is after Song of the Elves. This is where some of that CG related loot is starting to trickle in there. And that's what I find like interesting about bank videos like this. You can kind of get like a post-mortem of, you know, the maxing experience chronologically just by the random shit that is in the bank. And because I was so disorganized throughout this account's history, it's kind of well preserved. So it's surprising to see the fish barrel. Maybe that is a bit misleading. I'd be surprised if I did CG after my fish barrel, but yeah, for the most part, you get to see a general trend of how things went. But moving right along, there's our full graceful. I don't think I'll ever go through the effort of recoloring that. Who knows? My stance may change, but in general, I don't really use full graceful a whole lot these days. I've got a lot of stamina potions, and I think I'll struggle to actually use them all. So full graceful, it might be a rare circumstance where I actually use it. If there's like a skilling method or something that I'm going to be camping for a long period of time. But in general, I used to use my graceful for like questing and stuff. I no longer really do that, nor do I have many quests to do. I'm just looking at some of these items, like these need to go. Like there's just so much that is just very questionable. I need to get like rid of like random clue scroll loot rewards, but anyway, I still need to do a lot of clue related content. So In the meantime, I guess I'll let it sit there for a bit. Got some leftover Onyxes, an Amulet of Fury. I'll probably require that for a Blood Fury, I suppose, as a random Heron pet. I kind of forget which pets I have until I actually see them. I've not put any in my house because my house is currently under construction, to put it lightly. We're trickling over to our Barrows part here. I still haven't greenlogged Barrows. I'm only realistically, I think I'm missing maybe 3 items. The Darok's top and bottom, and maybe like a Torag helmet or something. I could probably double check that really quick. Let's have a look. Barrows. Okay, my memory's not too bad. We will need to go back there. I really would like to get full Daroks in particular, and if I'm only missing the Torag's helm as well, I might as well go for it. I'm not too sure what strategy to use for Barrows. I think the last time I went, I was using the Trident, and who knows, maybe if I do some upcoming content, I might have access to that new magic weapon that's like the in-between between the Trident and the Shadow. I can't quite recall the name of it. The 3-tick mage stuff. That would probably absolutely destroy the Barrows brothers. An extra Tormented Synapse is just chilling down here as well. I can't quite recall what is required. There is like a Demon Bane mage staff that is used for Yama. I can't recall if it requires a Synapse or not to create, but if it does, I've got one chilling there. An extra Hydra Leather, probably won't get a whole lot of utility out of that. And a bunch of random Slayer drops, 15 Araxite heads. I still do not have an Imbued Heart, so I imagine I'm going to get quite a few more of these, even just from the baby Araxites. And there is that big stack of stamina potions that I referred to before. Would be very surprised if I ever got through that, but I kind of expected to do a lot more mixing mixology. I may do more in the past, but I had it in my head that I was going to do an absolute shit ton of it, so I made a bunch of agar paste and didn't make any of the other two. And by the time I got 99 Herblore, I'm like, I don't realistically need to go there, do I? I thought I'd have to really stretch the XP per herb, but it turns out with consistent farm runs, that was kind of the antidote to that strategy. I didn't realistically need to do it. Mixing mixology is kind of like the mahogany homes of Herblore. It's a thing that you can do to stretch more XP per herb, but yeah, it turns out it wasn't necessary. But moving on, there is our Dragon Warhammer, an extra Bando's Hilt. This is some of the loot that we got from the Royal Titans, our Guardians of the Rift Fit, the updated red version looking quite nice. Not sure how I feel about a lot of these like head drops here, but they exist. I obtained them. The eggs, I guess you can sacrifice these to go towards like the chicken outfit, but I'm not realistically a collection log kind of person. I don't really care to get a chicken outfit. Like, respect if somebody's going for that grind, but holy shit, I don't know if that's me right now. I'm not quite at the bottom of the barrel where I consider that to be something that I want to search for, but alas, maybe it's some content for another day. But here, moving along to our Phantom Muspa. I think the Phantom Muspa is actually being nerfed since I did it. I can't quite recall. Maybe that's the case. I've also, since Yama... Is it Yama? Yeah, Yama being released. I went and AFK'd the mining section for quite some time. I think I have enough crushed Infernal Shale to be able to make some, like, Earthplate pieces, but I've not actually done the content, and I need the shards to actually do that in the first place. So, I AFK'd for a long period of time, although I just can't use this stuff right now. This section here, kind of dedicated towards the zombie pirates. I think we went a little bit over the drop rate for that. So, 2 Elder, Chaos Tops, I don't know if that's lucky or not. We got the Zombie Champion Scroll, which is cool, I guess. Again, not really my type of content, but it's a rare item, I suppose. It's kind of hard to throw it on the floor. As for Hallowed Sepulchre, I didn't realistically do a whole lot of it. I kind of learnt the content, and as soon as I did, I no longer did any more of it. I ended up spending a lot more time doing more semi-AFK with the RD Rooftop than I did actively playing doing the Hallowed Sepulchre. Now, I know RD Rooftop isn't AFK in the traditional sense, but compared to Sepulchre, it's definitely way lower APM and way less attention, most importantly. But after we got 99 agility, I spent a lot of time at TOA, got quite a few duplicates. We have 3 Missouri masks. I still don't have a Missouri chest piece. I've got quite a few dual duplicates, and interestingly enough, I think most of these duplicates I've received before the TOA changes occurred. I swear, the jewels that I received were when it was a 1 in 180 drop. Now that they're 1 in 60, 1 in 50, I've received much less of them, and I don't know what's going on with that, but it is the case. Maybe I just need to do more raids to stack in more jewels. Not that I need them, but I am curious to see how many jewels I end up with by the time I get my Shadow and my Missouri chest piece. It's kind of wild to think that's the only 2 items that I need at this point. But now we're getting into some items that are a little bit familiar in recent history. Elite Void, I only got that last episode, so we might be coming to the end of this tab here. Dynamite, that would be Winter Tot loot that I recently obtained. And a lot of these other items are probably Slayer items that I've been using very recently in the last couple of days. There's a couple items here that you've probably not seen before, but that will be addressed in the next video, so we'll swiftly move right along. So that's tab 1 complete. Now tab 2, this used to be a goutweed tab. If I ever needed a goutweed, I knew exactly where I'm going to find one. This is another reason why I want to get all the quests done. I want to get rid of crap like goutweeds. I don't want to get another one in the off chance like I actually need to do it for a quest. And at this point in my account, I probably don't even need it. The quests that are remaining probably don't require this. I've just had a goutweed tab for like a year. I've started to add in some of the items that are required for me to include into this tab, so it'll be converted over the next few videos. But tab number 2 here, this is mainly a skilling tab. This is a tab that I actually got utility from. If I was ever doing mahogany homes, I would put the items in a specific spot. If I was ever doing blast furnace, I'd put my ores in the most relevant location. And if I'm ever doing like fletching, anything skilling related, this is where this tab receives the most activity. Even until this day. Even the skill cape of cooking is in here. It's very dedicated to skilling. I've got a few things that I need to process after doing my giant mole grind. The primary goal of the giant mole was to receive bird nests, but as a result we got a lot of view logs and I will need to process these, but I want to go to the fletching minigame. Once I get the fletching knife, that will cut down the cost, or at least the time cost of processing these significantly, so that alongside what I think is referred to as the spin, it's not the spindle, that's a bloody spider, whatever it is. The fletching minigame will help me process a lot of my fletching overloaded supplies, so I won't be touching those until those are done. My carambine stack, I think I've knocked it down about 100,000, which is interesting. I don't really talk about cooking a whole lot in my videos because it's bloody cooking, mate, like, you know what I mean? But I have actually dwindled this stash down a lot, so I might even fish more carambines before too long. We'll see how we go. But yeah, there is the skilling tab for the most part. Got a lot of amethyst art tips I'll need to process. I think over the next few months, I might also work towards getting some amethyst arrow tips. My rune arrow stash is starting to slowly but surely disappear now that I've started to implement the Venator bow in my Slayer grinding. But speaking of Slayer grinding, this is my Slayer tab. The only thing that's thrown out of whack is the Arania boots. I've offloaded about 23 pairs, I think, of Arania boots. It might be 25, I don't know. About 100 mil worth of Arania boots I've offloaded to another account for membership. It's a sort of item that, like, it just pads my, like, bank value, and I get zero utility from it, so with membership costing like $18 a month in Australia, if you just buy it 1 month at a time or whatever, shit's expensive, man, so it's going to be like an aesthetic hit to the total bank value, which I will show at the very end with a RuneLite plugin. I just feel like it's a smarter move to make. Instead of like draining my IRL bank account, I can knock 100 mil off the bank value of this account. It's probably worth it, to be honest. It doesn't really matter if my bank value is like 3 bill or 3.1 bill. It's all the same to me. And I'm sure I will receive plenty more Arania boots as I go for the Imbued Heart ongoing. But like I said, I've been cooking a lot. I've got a lot of carambines. I don't think I'm going to run out of cooked carambines anytime soon. 134,000. We should be sorted for quite some time. This tab was, in the past, a little bit more organized, but I think there's just been a couple times where I've not put on the placeholder setting. I've accidentally taken something out, things have gotten disorganized, and it's all turned to shit. So with stuff absolutely everywhere, this has crumbled over time. This used to be organized, but with the bank tag layouts plugin, it's kind of superseded the utility of the actual tab itself, but there's still quite a few items. We currently have 23 occult necklaces, a lot of dragon plate legs. I think this stash will improve over time as I do DT2 bosses. I've still not done that quest, and I believe they drop a lot of plate skirts. Maybe the plate legs as well. I don't see why they wouldn't. 41D skimmies. We've got 16,000 anglerfish. I'll probably get more of those in the future as well, but a lot of like alchemy related items as well, just random battle stars. A lot of rings of recall should keep my suffering upticked for quite some time, as well as a little bit of rag gear here and there. Still being very, very lazy with my clues, but things like extra Tanzanite fangs, I want to go back to Zora, but I can't think of a reason why I would. It's a sort of boss that I like kind of enjoy doing. I've still not tried the melee method. I think I would enjoy it more with the melee method, but because I can't think of an actual drop that I want from that monster, I don't see myself going back anytime soon, as much as I may like to. A lot of dragon bolts as well. Didn't even realize I had those. That's pretty cool. What's that even worth? Casual 20 mil. That's okay. But yeah, for the most part, we're going to see a lot of items that are probably better off out, but they are nice to see in the bank. We got lucky with our armored crossbow. I think this thing's like 30 mil or something ridiculous. I believe we got that at 36 KC or something at Saradomin. I will need to return to that boss once again. The Abyssal Dagger. I love this weapon. I just have zero purpose to actually use it. I'd love to use it in TOA for the core. Instead, the DDS is higher damage on that specifically, so I don't think there is literally any use that I can derive for this weapon, as much as I enjoy it from an aesthetic point of view. But Noxious Halberd took quite some time to get that. We were quite lucky on the Fang, whatever the Araxite Fang, is it just called that? I have no idea. We got that first, which is, in hindsight, quite valuable, but 39 Abyssal Whips, very cool to see. That's a classic Slayer kind of collectible that you'll get. I think having a large whip count is, I don't know, that's, for me, it's like a very nostalgic parameter of like what you've accomplished, so I don't know if I'll ever transfer these whips to another account. The Urania boots, they're worth like 4 times more, and they mean a whole lot less, so I'll probably just fund my membership solely off those for quite some time. But Missouri chaps, once again, no chest piece, but duplicate chaps, so if I ever grow an extra pair of legs, I am sorted. Also got a bunch of random potions here that aren't sitting inside my potion storage. The downside to the potion storage is that if you use bank tag layouts, you're not able to withdraw from that directly, so these potions do actually need to sit in a tab somewhere, unfortunately. The Venator Bow, very much happy with this item. It makes Abyssal Demons just even more like AFK and enjoyable. Now that I've done Zombie Pirates, I'm not getting ping-ponged around the bloody room the whole time, so in general, Abyssal Demons, definitely like an A-tier task for me. Is it efficient? Probably not, but I don't know. Between Abyssal Whips, the chance at superiors, the fact that it's AFK, and it doesn't cost a whole lot of resources, I enjoy the task, but move along to the birdhouse tab. Not a whole lot to see here. It's for bloody birdhouses, to be honest. Don't know why adamant arrows exist there, but this tab, pretty straightforward. Redwood logs, don't have a lot of them. I probably need to go wood chopping in all honesty. Don't know what I can do with 27 ancient icons. If you do know, let me know, and I'll put them to use. But aside from that, bit of a novelty drop from the Muspa, and a bunch of random adamant plate bodies. This tab probably just as useless as the Goutweed tab. I'm never going to get rid of this enhanced crystal weapon seed. For those who forget or are unaware, 1,888 CGs I had to do across 2 accounts to get this. I just need evidence that I actually received this, so even though it's going to take up a bank spot, I'm never going to at least intentionally get rid of this bank space here. It's just a reminder that I actually bloody did that grind, and I actually completed it. This thing haunted me for months of my life. It was the reason why I quit playing my group Ironman account. It's still like 1,100 plus KC without getting this. It's the reason why this account exists in the first place, essentially. So I guess in a way you can thank CG for making me go super dry on a group account. I wasn't making videos. I was just playing a group account just with no intention of making content. And it tilted me so hard that I wanted to just do a solo account. And I thought, stuff it. If I'm going to do that, I might as well record it. So here we are, 42 episodes later and a bank video. Yeah, that's the story behind that. But moving on to the farming tab, we did receive Tangleroot at like 58 farming or 68, something stupid. Like, if you're still going for this pet, apologies, but I guess some of us, we spoon certain things, and then some of us, we go very dry on certain things. So I think there's a little bit of balance, as I mentioned just before. CG didn't treat me well, but Tangleroot, he gave me the golden treatment, that is for sure. This tab, once again, don't regularly access it due to bank tag layouts, superseding the utility of it, but there is some of the items there. And then finally, this will be my Herblore tab, which I actually use actively if I'm making herbs. I was actually kind of surprised how easy it was to get Herblore experience, but yeah, 15,000 Sour Brews, pretty impressed with that. I believe we also have quite a few super stores, but now that I mention it, I don't recall seeing them. I don't know what tab they're in, I probably just glossed over it, the very first tab, but 1,500 4-dose, 6,000 3-dose. We probably also have a little bit more in the potion storage, but yeah, for the most part, that is my entire bank. We've explored every single tab. The only thing that's left to look at is the potion storage. Totally didn't realize I had that many Saradomin brews just chilling in there. A few stamina pot doses as well. I will just generally, occasionally put potions into this place. Mostly ones that I don't realistically use a whole lot often. Any potion that I'm using regularly should be living in my bank, but we also have the items that I'm wearing, so I will deposit those now and turn on the plugin. It'll actually show us the entire bank value. I was going to say 23 mil. That's a bit grim. Cool that you can see the potion storage value, but the actual bank value is around 2.6 bill at the moment. Obviously, with grand exchange prices, it fluctuates quite wildly. And I did offload over 100 mil worth of Urania boots off to a different account. So 2.7 bill, something like that, is the rough amount of currency that I acquired over the course of maxing this account, essentially. But overall, wasn't really optimizing to increase the bank value, and it's actually kind of ridiculous how easy it is to accrue high bank value these days. I remember on Time Wasted, like having 300 mil, that was like runecrafting to 99 at the Abyss at like 24k XP an hour, and that was a massive slog. So to have like 10 times that value almost, yeah, very interesting to say the least. I guess like things like CG, raids, those sorts of things can definitely increase your bank value quite quickly. But with that said, that is pretty much my entire bank. I might have skipped over a couple of things, but at least it's visually there. If I didn't verbally address it, there is evidence that it existed. I realistically should loot all of these crystal keys and stuff like that. A lot of Skatizo things I could probably do as well, but now that I've made this video, I'm going to give myself permission to clean it at some point. But there's bigger fish that I need to fry. I still haven't built my house, and I'm maxed, and it's getting bad. It's like I'm like procrastinating this super like high utility thing for so long. But eventually I'll get towards fixing my bank once I have indeed fried said fish. But anyway, I hope you found this video somewhat entertaining. If you'd like to see more rambly style of videos, let me know. Happy to make them. It was honestly quite strange to not record multiple weeks of game footage into an episode before uploading a video. So these off the cuff ramble videos, probably a lot easier to make, and I really realistically need to get out of the headspace of that sort of video being bad. I think the biggest failure in my YouTube career up until this point has been the apprehension to uploading a video unless it's like perfect. So if you'd like to see some more imperfect videos, let me know. But with that said, I'm going to be working on a new account. You may see a side series that will be up and coming. You'll get more details on that series in the up and coming weeks as I release the episodes. But I think I'll camp it there. Hope you guys enjoyed watching the Ironman series up until this point, and I look forward to releasing more episodes of it in the future. Who knows, if you want to see a bank video for 2026, let me know. But as for 2025 and maxing, that is where we stand. So thank you for watching this video. Take care, and I'll catch you next time.